Hey, Jeannie Lynch coming to you today, wanting to share my favorite word with you in the whole entire world. What is that? The word is grace. But what is grace? And what is grace not? You've heard the expression, by the grace of God. What exactly does that mean? That's the conversation I want to have with you today, but from you, for you, with you. Is grace something that you have to, is it transactional? Do you have to have something bad happen in your life in order to receive grace? Or is it out there every day for us to see, believe, and receive? Curious? Me too. Controversial as it sounds, let's have this conversation today here and on my channel. Stay watching. Hey, Jeannie Lynch coming to you today talking about grace. My favorite word. What is grace? What is not grace? The grace of God. So what I thought I'd do is set this up for you to tell you that when I pick a topic to talk about on my channel, I literally do sit with it for a while before I gather all what I feel to be good information or light on that subject to offer it out to you to have a great discussion. So this is no different. I'm focused on grace for a couple months now, and I turned on my YouTube channel to do my bike ride this morning, and I pumped in the words, grace of God, and this video popped up. And I'm going to share a couple of the excerpts from this video that I heard today, because I believe it is the best definition I can give you of what grace is not. So I'm going to click out. I'm going to let you hear just a couple little nuggets of my beautiful podcast this morning. I'll come back on and we'll talk about what grace is. Let's get the negative out of the way. It's controversial. Stay watching.
Because your experience is too important to be missed. There are certain things that you can only learn about God through suffering. Help me preach it, Lord. Help me preach it today, Lord. And I've come to that place that grace will always bring you, where you got to pay something for it. You got to pay something. It's pay up time. It's put up or shut up.
Hey, we're continuing the conversation of what grace is and what grace is not. And you've just heard my version of what it's not. So let me just recap what I heard, and you can add to it below. Grace is not limited. It is not transactional in any way. It is not contrived. It is not sacrificing. It is not some debt that we need to pay in order to be close to God. It is not. What grace is, and what I want to talk about are just some bullets to that, some points to that of what grace is. And I believe, and I hope you do too, that grace is absolutely limitless, meaning there is no limit to the amount of grace that is out there for us, but more importantly, for us to give. We can grace each other's day every day simply by getting up and saying thank you. That's grace. Grace is also something that is very simple. Are we complicating this? I think what we just heard was complicated, that it needed to be, and it's not. If you think about nature, and yes, nature and grace are the same thing. If you think about how nature just works so naturally, I think grace does too. And you know that beautiful expression that we use when we say, by the grace of God? How about if we change that today and just say that God is grace? And isn't God or grace also appreciation? Isn't it gratitude? Isn't it joy? If you've experienced any of those emotions in your life, then guess what? You too have been graced by God. So two more little points I'd like to make, and I'll share a quick story and we'll be done with this conversation today, is that grace is absolutely, it's available. And it's available to all. Not just those who suffer, not just those who go to church, not that those who just believe in one specific way in which religions say that we need to. No. Grace is absolutely available for everyone to receive, but more importantly, to give. And lastly, my last point is that It's absolutely now, and it's very much present in your life. No matter what you're going through, grace is present. That's how I'd like to end my points of what grace is. I'm going to share just a simple, quick story, and then I'm going to ask you to do a little charge in this video, and you can get on with your day. So stay with me. The last little story I want to share is just a story of grace that happened to me, and it's just a beautiful story of, I was just working one day, happened to go right out back to go to the bathroom or get a drink of water, can't remember, and when I walked out into the back room, I noticed the most incredible sunset I had ever seen, and it was vibrant in color. It must have been the time of the year, didn't matter where the sun was falling down below the mountains. The colors were magnificent. And I stopped, and it was such a moving experience that I actually found myself kind of yelling out. I was like, oh my God. And of course, my coworkers came running out, and you know who you are, to see this thing that they thought was, not okay, right? So as we stood there looking, they looked over at me. They're like, Jean, what are we looking at? And I said, that, look, you can't see that? Look at that sky. Oh, the sunset. And what I realized was that grace in that moment was a choice. That they were seeing the same thing I was seeing, and maybe the blue was a little bluer for me that day, don't know why. That's not the point I'm trying to make. But that I saw it as grace, and that I saw it as magnificent, and that I took the moment to acknowledge it. So that's the point I'm going to leave you with today. And here's my homework for you. Instead of waiting for grace to be received by you, how about you give grace? And that means my charge for you is to go out. You got 24 hours to 48 hours to grace someone's day. And who knows if they'll be in a position to receive, right? Because grace is limitless. Let me enjoy that charge. It truly will be as beneficial for you as the person who's receiving grace. This is Jeannie Lynch, Love and Light, signing off. Have a fabulous day. Thanks for watching and being part of my YouTube channel. Namaste.
So, what is grace to me? I think grace is limitless. It's powerful. It's a gift that we can give each other and ourselves on a regular basis. It's something we can show our dogs when they interrupt us when we're trying to do a video. But I also think the first thing I think about when I hear the word grace, at least how I implement it myself, is it's about taking a mindful breath. I think that's kind of the shortest distance to travel between being reflective rather than reactive. I think it starts and stops with grace, and in those moments where you need it, it's just as simple as stopping and taking that mindful breath. And then it's easier to process whatever it is, It's easier to forgive. It's easier to be understanding, especially when it comes to ourselves. So for me, grace is everything.
Grace. Grace for me is, first of all, gratitude. Being grateful for everything that I've been blessed with, my family, my new grandchild, my sisters, my brother, my parents, being able to have a great house to live in, a great job, friends who care about me. Grace is also being non-judgmental. And once, a long time ago, my coach kind of chastised me because I was complaining about people who were opinionated about other folks from different cultures, from different countries, different skin color. And I was going on, and he said, Denise, you have to have grace. These people that you call ignorant are just entitled to their worldview as you do. You've been blessed to travel to many places, met many different people, and had many different experiences. So have grace and be grateful for what you were blessed with. And that put it in perspective for me. Besides being grateful and non-judgmental, grace is having forgiveness. So when I feel like folks have been cruel or mean to me personally, and it hurt or caused me pain and suffering, I have to learn to forgive. Forgive me for feeling that hurt. Feel it first and let it go, and forgive them for causing this event to be negative. And really, grace is having compassion for all living things, compassion and love. And, especially those things that are less fortunate than us, even insects and bugs and snakes and gators and spiders. So, have compassion and love for all living things. And that's what grace is.
Grace to me is peace, happiness, love, and knowing that God has been very good to me. And I enjoy that very much. And I hope I'm worth it.
Love it. Thank you.